I'm Doug Brown. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes says he had some soreness after Sunday's AFC title win, but did not re-aggravate his high right ankle sprain. Meanwhile, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts says his right shoulder sprain is still getting better and that he's proud to be part of the first matchup of African-American quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's history. I think it's something that's worthy of being noted, and it is history. You know, it's come a long way. I think there's only been 7 African-American quarterbacks to play in the Super Bowl, so to be the first for some is pretty cool, so I know it'll be a good one.
Jalen Hurts, college basketball tonight on the family of networks at 9 Eastern on ESPN2. Third-ranked Houston plays an American Conference game at Wichita State. In the Pac-12 at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, it'll be 5th-ranked Arizona hosting Oregon. 11 Eastern on ESPNU. From the West Coast Conference, it's 18th-ranked St. Mary's hosting San Francisco. And in the NBA, LeBron James continues his chase to beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career scoring record when the Lakers play the Pacers in Indianapolis tonight.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
If you have
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Danny Cardenas.
Every time I come around your city, make it rain real about anything.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. About a month ago, shared I sort of just floated out a story to you that had been percolating in a lot of circles around the state. And it was about the potential renaming of Dale Brown Court. And unfortunately, while my hope was that the situation would rectify itself, that more intelligent conversations could be had, and they would find a better way of doing things. That does not appear to be the case. And there are some heavy-hitting power brokers in this state who are trying to work back channels, dark alleys, to quietly change the name of Dale Brown Court. Next hour, my good friend Jeff Marks is going to be in studio. I have blocked off the entire 4 o'clock hour to talk about this in great detail. I don't know if we'll need the whole hour. We may. But I think what's happening is that egregious that I'm going to use this platform to talk about it. Because there are some fights that are worth picking, and this is one of them. So, candidly, I am enraged by the whole thing. And I feel like many of you will be as well. So, we will go into detail. Public records requests, on-the-record conversations with politicians, board members, the particulars. If you love a good old spicy, salacious story, this has got it all. And we're going to dive into it in 1 hour. We will shine the light on the thing that the power brokers in the state have been trying to do in quiet, and that's coming up 1 hour from right now. All right, it's after further review. Senior Bowl going on in Mobile this week. And during that week, there's always the opportunity for principals in the NFL, coaches, front office, GM, et cetera, to meet with the media. And Jeff Ireland with the New Orleans Saints did that today, Thursday, in Mobile. And as you might expect, both Sean Payton and the future of the quarterback situation were a pretty significant topic of conversation. First of all, here was Jeff Ireland on Sean Payton to Denver.
Well, I was excited for us. I was excited for Sean. I mean, it's
look, I'm in charge of the draft, so more draft picks for our staff and our team, and that's exciting. So, looking forward to getting to work a little bit more in the first round.
Should go without saying. Now, what they do with that first-round pick is going to be a massive topic of conversation because the Saints are a quarterback-needy team. So, number 4, Muse, if we could, how much flexibility does having that first-rounder, the 29th pick, give them going to draft prep?
I mean, it doesn't really change our process as it relates to the draft. I mean, we're always going to evaluate every single player as if we had a top 5 pick, a 15th pick, or a 29th pick. So it doesn't really change the way we do things or the way we approach the draft. But it does give us more flexibility. It gives us at least one more good player this year that we can add to our football team. We're excited about that.
Certainly sounds like they plan on using that pick and not trading, right? We'll add at least one good player to our team. Now, will that player be a quarterback? That is part of the big conversation here. And Jeff Ireland, in no uncertain terms, said, this is 9, Muse, if we could, that's a position that they got to address.
Our process really doesn't change. I mean, when you had Drew, I mean, you kind of knew you're pretty much taken care of in that regard. And so, we have one free agent quarterback and a practice squad quarterback under contract. So we do take it a little bit more serious this year because we need to find one.
We need to find one. That's not, it would be great if we could. We'll let the draft come to us. It's, we need to find one. Everyone knows the situation. You're going to cut Jameis Winston. He's not going to be back on the team. Andy Dalton is a free agent. Free to sign anywhere. Very likely, I think, to be re-signed by New Orleans. You could go target Garoppolo or Carr or some of the other big names that might be out there in free agency, which we've talked about a bunch. But there's the dude who runs your draft who said, we need to find one, a quarterback. Now, what about in this draft where the top 4 guys are pretty much a consensus and none of them are going to be there when you're picking at 29. So can you find one in this draft?
You got to have the right traits. You got to have the right intelligence. Quarterback in the history of the game is generally you have to take one early. The Tom Brady's haven't really been out there in the 6th round very often. We were able to acquire one in Dallas, Tony Romo in free agency, and that's a little bit of luck of the draw. But you have to usually select the really good ones early. There's a reason why they're up there in the top of the draft. But you're looking for traits. You're looking for processing speed, accuracy, all the traits that you're looking for. So, right now we're just gathering information on all the quarterbacks. Again, it's the first time we've ever a chance to talk to them. But we've seen all the tape. We've evaluated the player. Now we're evaluating the person. Traits.
We're evaluating the person. I loved this. Many of you have seen it, but Pete Thamel at ESPN has a piece up right now about Hendon Hooker, and that's getting a lot of buzz, as you might expect. He's probably the next best quarterback after those first 4 that everybody talks about, and that's probably a guy the Saints are going to have an opportunity to pick. Probably. We don't know definitively. You got to see how the draft plays out, but there's a lot of conversation about him. If you have not read Pete Thamel's piece at ESPN.com, go to it. The very last paragraph is, when teams have asked Hooker what kind of player they're getting, he has responded this way, quoting Hendon Hooker, "I want to be smart and learn and want to come in and be extremely competitive. A dynamic guy who is hungry for betterment of himself on and off the field. A dynamic guy in the pocket and a good deep ball thrower and an accurate thrower and an athletic player, a competitor." That's a mouthful, but that's the kind of guy who I think a lot of people could rally behind. I made it no uncertain terms. I'm a big fan of Hendon Hooker. I would love it if the Saints send the card up to the podium and have an opportunity to draft him. If it's at 29, if it's at 40, whatever it may be, I would be pumped if they end up with Hendon Hooker. But he is a lot of what Jeff Ireland described when he met with reporters in Mobile. But the other thing Jeff Ireland said there is, typically you got to find a quarterback early in the draft. Muse, Danny, grab your mics. I want to kind of see if we can do a consensus exercise here. He said, the Tom Brady's are few and far between where you can get a guy late in the draft. But even still, first-rounders are anything but a sure thing. I think we'd all agree on that. So I went back today and I went and looked at all of the first-round draft picks, and I tried to kind of gauge if it was a hit or a miss. So play along with me here, guys. We're just going to see if we can come to a consensus on this. I'm going to start with the 2018 draft class because all those guys will have gone through their rookie deal, right? So, I think it's unfair to ask right now about Kenny Pickett or Look, we could probably guess on Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, right? But I think it's harder for guys like Tua or Justin Herbert at this point, although I think we know. What about like Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones? I mean, they've been starters, but could we label them a miss at this point? No, it's undecided, right? So let's go back to 18, where you have the full rookie contract, and let's say hit or miss, and see if we can come to a consensus on these. And we'll do a few. So Baker Mayfield,
miss,
right? Miss. Sam Darnold,
miss.
He's not a starter in the league. Josh Allen,
hit.
Obviously a hit. Josh Rosen is right.
He's a miss.
And then Lamar Jackson was also in the first round in 2018. That's a hit, right? I mean, he was MVP. So 5 first-rounders in 2018, 2 hits, 3 misses. And one of the hits, by the way, was the last pick of round 1. Lamar Jackson was the last pick of round 1. The 3rd overall pick, the 10th overall pick, we're agreeing are misses. So it's hardly an exact. Anyway, 2017, Mitchell Trubisky.
Miss.
I mean, right?
Number 2 overall.
Good Lord. Patrick Mahomes.
Hit.
Obviously a hit. Deshaun Watson.
I think it's a hit.
I agree.
Yeah,
on field, he's a starter. So the Browns just gave up a king's ransom and paid him a ton. He's a starter, so that's a hit. Let's see. 2016, Jared Goff.
I'd say hit.
That's got to be a hit, right? Carson Wentz.
Miss.
Is a miss, right? So we've gone now. That, and by the way, they were 1-2 overall. Also in that draft, in the first round, do you remember who? No, I'm sorry. First round, the 3rd pick to Denver.
I don't.
I'm sorry, it was 26th pick. The 26th pick.
I don't remember.
Oh, Paxton Lynch? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. There's a name.
How about that?
Yeah, miss.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny. A miss.
Yeah, miss.
A miss. So my point is, through those 3 drafts, 16, 17, 18, you've got 6 misses and 5 hits. So even first rounders, I've said this, but we're sort of quantifying now. Look at 2015. Jameis and Marcus Mariota went 1-2. What do we say about them?
I'd say Mariota's a miss. I mean, it's hard to.
Neither team got to their second contract with the team that drafted.
Miss.
I mean, you have to, as much as I like Jameis and think he could be, neither team got to the second contract with the team that drafted him. Go another year. Blake Bortles. Miss. Right? Johnny Manziel. Miss. Teddy Bridgewater. Miss. All right, so if we go back to the 2014 draft, that's 14, 15, 16, 5 drafts. The last 5 drafts of quarterbacks who've made through their full contract, we've got first-round quarterbacks, 11 misses, 5 hits. That's not even 50-50. I mean, that's if you take the guys that we might consider 50-50s, like a Mariota or a Jameis, who have started, but you know what I mean, but didn't become, what you'd expect. And look, guys, if you want to actually go back, 2013, E.J. Manuel. Geno Smith was a second-rounder, but E.J. Manuel was the only first-rounder in that draft. That's a miss. You go back to 2012, you had Andrew Luck, who was a hit. You had RG3,
miss.
Who was a miss. Ryan Tannehill was the 8th pick of the draft. I think you got to say he's a hit, right? He's been a starter.
Yeah. That one's tough, though. That one is tough. But
and in fairness, he's a starter, but he was drafted by the Dolphins. And now he's been a starter in Nashville. Yeah. I mean, guys, you want to go back to 2011? There were no first rounder in 2011. Oh God, this is the one that will completely tip the scales. Cam Newton
was a hit.
Jake Locker.
No.
Blaine Gabbert.
No.
Christian Ponder.
No.
You know who the first pick of the second round was in that draft?
So we're doing 2011?
The first quarterback taken in round 2.
2011.
Andy Dalton.
Hey, I've heard of him.
You know what I mean? So if we go back through the 2011 draft, from 2011 to 2018, that sample size of first-round draft pick quarterbacks, we have 16 misses and 8 hits. You're I mean, 8 out of 24. I mean, you're a third of the picks are hits. I mean, it is hardly an exact science. but you got to keep taking your shot, or you're never gonna find one. It took the Saints 40 years to land on Drew Brees. If you think it's just going to happen again, like you're going to bring in Derek Carr and he's all of a sudden going to be a Hall of Famer, it ain't happening. It ain't happening with Jimmy G. You got to keep taking your hacks in the draft and hope you land on one. And maybe it's Ryan Tannehill, or maybe it's Josh Allen. Maybe it's Christian Ponder. I don't know, but you got to keep taking your cuts, because if you don't, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But that's actually not true, because you didn't actually miss it. You know what I mean? Never really liked that line. But you can't make it. You didn't miss. Your shooting percentage is just 0, right? Anyway, so Saints are looking for a quarterback. Jeff Ireland said as much. They got to get one in this draft. It's time. You got to start taking one every draft until you find a hit. All right, it's after further review. Feel free to get your reaction in. You can email us, tweet us, jump in the Buy Forward YouTube chat, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Let me knock out a quick break. Regrettably, we'll mention LSU losing their 9th straight last night at Mizzou when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. You know where to find them. It's at Pluckers. Hey, tonight, of course, Pels are back on the floor, looking to snap their 9-game losing streak. They're at Dallas. It's a 7:30 tip. Get on by Pluckers. Remember, tonight and every Thursday, all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. So these are little ball-sized, bite-sized chicken breasts, breaded, fried, tossed in your favorite wing sauce, and you can eat as many of them as you want for one low price every Thursday for as long as they're open. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Pels play tonight. Great NBA slate. The Lakers and the Pacers are part of that early slate of games as well. So full slate of NBA. Go watch some college basketball as well. Start thinking about your Super Bowl watch party with some wings from Pluckers. Nicholson and Bluebonnet, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana Loyal. Always.
Start your day with news and newsmakers.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Muse, I'm glad you're alive.
Hey, thanks, man. Me too.
You want to talk about it?
We can.
All right. What happened?
I was rear-ended this morning on I-10 West.
Bad place to be rear-ended.
I mean, Baton Rouge. Just happens.
I mean, Baton Rouge.
Rains and people lose their mind.
Wait until we're down to one lane.
Oh, yeah. Saw that.
Or 2 lanes for like 4 years or whatever it's going to be.
Just
really looking forward to that, DOTD. Dynamite job.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. But, yeah, man, hit from behind. Luckily, not too much damage to the truck. Wasn't my fault, so that'll be nice.
You know what to do.
I know what to do.
Get Gordon.
And get it done.
That's what you got to do. Play the jingle as you walk into the office over there. Well,
I
wonder if
entrance music.
Yeah.
My God, that's Gordon's music.
That is Gordon's music, is what that is. I wonder if they play it when you open the door to the office. If that's instead of like a chime, like a ding.
That's just that would be so good.
You open the door like, boom, get Gordon.
If they don't, they need to start doing that.
That's actually a really good idea. Anyway, I'm glad you're okay, Muse.
Me
Muse
too.
got rear-ended today on the way into work. And would you get hit by would you tell me like a three-wheeler?
It's like a three-wheeler. So y'all have probably seen them, right? Like they're like the convertible 2-seater, 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back. And I mean, I think
2 wheels
honestly,
in the front,
I think
1
that,
in the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly,
like the
I
one
think
big
that's-
wheel in the back?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's
I've seen
why there wasn't so much damage to my truck.
I think I've
got
seen
hit
the
pretty hard.
I think I've seen the opposite, Muse. Isn't it 1 wheel in
They
the
have
front,
both.
2 in the back?
They have both. This one had 1 wheel
Danny,
in the back.
are you a
and 2
car
in the-
guy at all? Do you do cars?
Yes.
So do you know what's he talking about? Do you know what we're talking?
Yeah, he's talking about the convertible 3-wheelers, like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Like a hot rod?
Kinda.
Do you remember? Did y'all ever watch Home Improvement?
Absolutely.
You know Tim the Toolman Taylor. You know he's building that hot rod in his garage. That's what I'm envisioning hit you.
It's that right behind you. A slingshot is exactly what it was. A slingshot.
Oh, this. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Oh,
So
that's what hit you.
It basically ended up underneath my tailgate, which is why I don't think there was as much damage because it's so much smaller than my truck. It just kind of went underneath.
What is it? This is called, Danny? A slingshot?
Yeah, slingshot.
How fast can that thing go?
I don't know.
I'm guessing like 90.
Oh, that's it?
I don't know.
I don't think it'd go over 100.
I've never driven
I'd be surprised if it went over.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so the driver of the slingshot was okay.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Well, Muse. Get Gordon.
Of course.
Don't go into this thing by yourself. Make sure the insurance company takes care of your vehicle and all that stuff. I got hit last year. Ain't no fun, man. I'm telling you. Like, I was willing to try to do it with no attorney, but the insurance companies were a pain in the T-hiney, a pain in the tuchus. And I'm telling you, man, they'll respond. We'll let an attorney send a letter. They'll respond. Respond in a hurry. Okay, I'm glad you're okay, Muse.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're not taking cool runnings.
Yeah.
Darius, you dead? No, man. I'm not dead. Was that what went in your head whenever you got hit?
No.
No.
I can't say that it did.
No, I didn't think so. All right. Glad you're with us here. We'll go around the SEC in a little bit. Again, Jeff Marks is going to be in studio with us to start hour 2. And I'm just telling you candidly, we may spend the full hour talking about the issue with Dale Brown Court, because the research Jeff has done is extensive, as I've mentioned, on-the-record conversations with board members, principals involved in the matter, public records requests. What some power brokers in our state are trying to do right now is despicable. And we're gonna talk about it. We're basically gonna tell you exactly what's been going on. That's coming up in hour 2. By the way, we'll talk. Can you tell I'm trying to put off talking about LSU basketball? Muse. I mean, Muse and I were in the hall. I'm like, do I really have to I mean, I'm aching to do anything but talk about LSU basketball.
You've almost kind of succeeded.
I know, because we're going to be down near a break here, and I'm trying to talk about what Todd McShay said about a couple of Louisiana kids over there at the Senior Bowl.
That happened, yeah.
So I'm going to get to that, I think, and maybe put off LSU basketball a little longer. What is there to talk about with this basketball team? I mean, I feel for them. They severely lack talent. They lack shooting. The SEC is good. They're not good enough to win games. It's just going to be a brutal stretch, like until they could beat South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vandy. They'll have a chance to win those three. That's it. So I don't know what else to say. People like, hey, is McMahon losing the team? No, he's not losing the team. They play hard. They're just not good. They're not good. They're going to be. He's a smart guy. He's a good coach. Like, he's going to recruit. Like, give him time to build his program. This won't go be it. So anyway, there is your. I
think that was 16.
Is that adequate?
I think so.
Maybe that could be the poll question. Do you want Matt to talk about LSU basketball? I mean,
sounds good to me.
I'm guessing resoundingly it's going to be no.
Post it right now.
There you go, Muse. That's the Citizens Bank and Trust poll question. All right, it's after further review. So Todd McShay, by the way, shout out Hester and T-Bob. OTB is in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. They've been there all week. Great coverage. Make sure you're tuning in the mornings. Their last day at the Senior Bowl's tomorrow. Todd McShay, and ESPN, we have it on in studio here on ESPN2. It's the Senior Bowl practices. Well, Todd McShay is down there, and so yesterday at the practice, they're talking to Todd McShay, and he mentions two players in the Senior Bowl from Louisiana, and gushes over them. First, Tulane running back Tyjae Spears. Here's what Todd McShay said.
I got a couple players I got to go back and re-rank tonight. This is the first time I've seen him live. On tape, it's funny. On tape, he looks like kind of that undersized back.
Right.
He is thickly built.
Man.
He's tightly packed, and he is quick.
I mean, Todd, if you go read the recap, Todd McShay's talking about Tyjae Spears as a guy who he has to reevaluate, who has raced up draft boards there in Mobile. And oddly, I'm looking here in studio. The TV has Osiris Torrance on it right now. They're spotlighting Osiris Torrance, right? Of course, a guy from St. Helena who went to ULL, transferred to Florida this past year. Here was McShay on Osiris Torrance.
Torrance, #1 offensive guard in this year's class. Could be a first-round pick at the guard position, which we don't see a ton of. He's that talented. He was a Louisiana player for several years and then transferred to Florida. I was so curious to see him in the SEC against those stars, and we saw exactly that. Just stonewalling guys all season long. Didn't give up a single sack this past season.
I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was talking to a talent evaluator. And I think a couple things. First of all, neither one of these guys had LSU offers. And I sort of understand, because you look at it and you say, well, they're 3-star guys and LSU aims higher. But so often we get infatuated with star rankings. And the quality of football in Louisiana is such that, you have guys that are 3 stars that sometimes fall through the cracks and that end up being guys that are going to be first-round picks. But I know for a fact that both Osiris Torrance and Tyjae Spears were brought to the former staff, Ed Ogeron and Mickey Joseph, namely with Spears. And there was a lot of people in Tangipahoa who stumped for these two players. Osiris Torrance was from St. Helena, and Tyjae Spears went to Ponchatoula. Spears was the running back on T.J. Finley's team. Of course, they were coached by Hank Tierney and all that. And the former staff decided, I think we're good. And very clearly, Osiris Torrance would have been a big help on LSU's offensive line the past few years when you were going to the likes of Harvard to try to pluck starters. And obviously, since Clyde left, you have Ty Davis-Price had a nice season in 2021. I don't want to diminish that. It wasn't great. Second half was much better. He had the giant game against Florida. But Tyjae Spears is a guy that's racing up draft boards and is going to be an immediate impact guy. It shows that sometimes you miss, even in state. You become infatuated with star rankings. You take Cardell Thomas, you pass on Osiris Torrance, you took the star ranking instead of the prospect. And look at how it's turned out. But the other part of it is that's why I'm excited to have Ryan Robinson on. Ryan Robinson is going to be with us in hour number 3. That's a guy from the New Orleans area, Edna Carr, 3-star, did not have a committable offer to LSU, but passed on Power 5 schools to walk on at LSU. And as a guy that is going to be able to play at this level at some point in his career. So it's part of what I often talk about as we stress over the NIL culture and how LSU financially can't keep pace with some of the other schools that you see the money being spent. But what is, and as Ali Gay's got his hand in the dirt right there, it's pretty cool to watch him at practice right now. But what is always going to be an advantage for Brian Kelly is the dirt. You're always going to have kids from Louisiana who would give an arm to play at LSU. And both of those kids I just mentioned would have walked from Tangipahoa to Baton Rouge to play at LSU and put on the purple and gold, but neither had the opportunity. So that's something Brian Kelly and his staff are certainly going to have to highlight. And look at Brian Kelly in the portal, putting a preference on Louisiana kids, guys who maybe didn't have LSU offers coming out of high school, but getting them in as transfers. You saw with Jark Bernard Converse. You saw with Greg Brooks. I mean, it's, they're there. And onus is on the staff to go find them. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We'll knock out a quick break, come back, and go around the SEC. Jeffrey Marks in studio 30 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. Y'all, it is a great time to just plant something. Go get in the garden. Great for the whole family. You want to put your hands in the dirt and plant some, if it's potato seeds or plants or whatever it may be, trees, shrubs. They got shipments arriving daily over at Clegg's Nursery. So, look, with this cool weather we have right now, you might be put off thinking, I don't think I want to plant anything. It's cold. What if we get a freeze? There are some of these bedding plants and flowers that love the cool weather. Go find them. Add a pop of color to your flower bed, your patio pots. It's a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. Great time to plant trees and shrubs so that they're blooming beautifully come springtime. It's all at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. For more than 60 years, it's Clegg's Nursery. I tell you every day, buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in and go see our friends at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, remember, you can always text the show on the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Joe Rob said, we were talking about quarterbacks earlier, and Muse, Danny, and I were kind of going through we looked at like the last decade or so of first-round picks at quarterback, and of the 24 we highlighted from 2011 to 2018, you had, what did we say, 16? There were 16 misses and 8 hits. So, point being, drafting a quarterback, hardly an exact science. Joe Rob texted the show and said, Hurts, Prescott, Purdy, later round picks in the playoffs. Who else? Well, we've been through that as well. I mean, you can run through the list. Certainly, you can find guys that didn't stick. I mean, Garrett Grayson was a third-round pick, but so was Russell Wilson, right? Dak Prescott was a fourth-rounder. I mean, he's become a starter in the NFL and a really good player. I understand they're making decisions in Dallas, but whatever. Hey, Kirk Cousins was a fourth-round pick who's become a starter in the NFL. Everybody always points out Tom Brady, but Brock Purdy, a seventh-rounder. Tony Romo was an undrafted free agent. I'm not saying that's common, but they're out there. But you got to take your cuts, man. You got to be up there willing to swing the bat to get the hit. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in a second. Remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli spent really their 75th anniversary expanding all of their precision measurement device calibration labs. Added more than 6,000 square feet to their lab in Harahan, their New Orleans office. And not just that. I mean, in Baton Rouge, up in North Louisiana, Mobile. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Just phenomenal business. Our nation's largest distributor of scales, but they do so much more. Always encourage you to get to Michelli.com. You can find offices, location nearest you. They expanded their Houston, Texas lab by 1,450 square foot, including a 625-foot clean room. They do it all. Mobile calibration is available as well. They can come to you. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. All right, it's after further review. Jeffrey Marks in studio in 23 minutes from right now. We're going to spend a lot of time, just letting you know, over the next hour, talking about what some influential power brokers in the state are trying to do in secret to change the name of Dale Brown Court. And I got an email from Rick who said, Matt, would you please call out these so-called power brokers by name? Sincerely, thanks, Rick. Oh, Rick, that's coming. I mean, on-the-record conversations, public records requests. I don't know if many of you even know this, but many of you know Jeffrey Marks as the guy who wrote Walking with Tigers. He's also a New York Times bestselling author of Season of Life, which in its 49th printing. And he's the youngest ever Pulitzer Prize winner. He was a Pulitzer Prize winner for his investigative reporting back in the 1980s. Professionally, he is as good as they come. He'll never say it because he's humble and awesome and a great friend. And he's as humble a guy that I know who's achieved the things he's achieved. But they tugged at an emotional cord here, and he tapped into his elite reporting ability. And I'm looking forward to helping him tell the story next hour. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Well, there's a new name on the board for the offensive coordinator gig at Alabama. It's Notre Dame OC Tommy Rees. Nick Saban is flying Tommy Rees down to Tuscaloosa to interview the former Irish quarterback, who's been in South Bend since 2017, been the OC since 2020. You might remember Rees was offered the LSU OC job when Brian Kelly left and decided to remain at his alma mater, saying, quote, "This is where my heart is." That apparently lasted a year.
Texas A&M!
Wide receiver Anais Smith is headed back to Aggieland for a 5th season. He missed the bulk of the 2022 season after breaking his leg in September against Arkansas. He was the leading receiver on the team at the time of the injury. He was eligible to return for an extra year because of the COVID pandemic extra season granted. So another weapon for Jimbo back in 2023.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia announced the signing of 2023 offensive tackle Jamal Merriweather. He was the only unsigned member of the 23 class that had been committed. He's a 3-star offensive tackle out of Georgia. He's the 5th offensive lineman in the class. Was committed to UCF, flipped to Georgia in November, but finally has signed 26 signees for Georgia in this here class. Georgia finishes number 2 behind Bama.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
2024 offensive tackle Aba Selm, a 6'4", 293-pounder. He's committed to Kentucky over offers from Penn State, Louisville, Illinois, and Missouri. Selm is the 27th best interior offensive lineman in the country for the class of 2024. The Cats now have 2 commits for that cycle. All right, on the hardwood last night, here we go. LSU, of course, lost to Missouri 87-77. The other 2 games that saw one very surprising result. Florida upends second-ranked Tennessee 67-54. That game was in Gainesville. A monster second half for the Gators where they put up 40 points and beat the Vols. And Auburn, 25th ranked, they had no trouble at home against Georgia, 94-73. The final there. Auburn moves to 7-2 in the conference. Georgia falls to 4-5. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Interactive whiteboards, all-in-one, scan, copy, fax, everything. If you need office equipment, you need a company that's going to go to bat for you and be there for you. You have an issue? Look, it's equipment. It's technology. Technology breaks. What do you do when it breaks? You call Gulf Coast Office Products. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, with offices all over. They can get to you same day. Worst case scenario, 10 a.m. the next day with parts ready to go. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, y'all. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. Because we're gonna have Jeff Marks with us next hour. We're gonna flip, and Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. I want to remind you also coming up in hour 3. I'm excited. Ryan Robinson is going to be with us. Really cool story. A 3-star cornerback out of the New Orleans area who had Power 5 offers, passed on all of them to walk on at LSU. He's going to be with us in hour number 3. We're looking forward to that. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're here. Stick around. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. I know sometimes people may hesitate to hire a realtor because you think, man, what if we don't get any action and I don't want to be stuck in a long-term contract? No worries. With Darren James, if at any point you're not thrilled with the level of service, he'll let you out of the contract free and clear, no questions asked. But don't worry, you'll be thrilled. And I often talk about Darren's plan. Darren has a 150-point marketing plan to get your home sold fast. Ask your realtor. Ask any other realtor that you're interviewing. Let me see your plan. Then ask Darren. Or better yet, text Darren right now. Text the word plan, P-L-A-N. Do this right now. Do this right now. Even if you're not selling your home, just so you know you get the response. Text the word plan to 88,000. That's text plan, P-L-A-N, to 88000. Text the word plan to 88,000 and see how Darren James outworks everybody.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Cornell Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corvell Toyota family to yours.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are wrapping up hour number 1, and glad you're with us. Our buddy Jeff Marks will be in studio here in 13 minutes from right now as we start hour 2. In case if you've missed it, we've kind of teased it a little bit here. There are some very influential people in our state who are secretly trying to change the name of Dale Brown Court just roughly a year after the LSU Board of Supervisors voted to bestow that honor upon LSU's former head men's basketball coach. And we're going to shine a light on a lot of what's been going on when Jeff's in studio with us coming up in hour number 2. And then Ryan Robinson, LSU defensive back commitment, or I guess now he's walk-on, will be with us in hour number 3. We're looking forward to it. Because we'll have Jeff next studio, we're going to flip little things right now. Muso, let's do Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, let's start in the association. Timberwolves last night, they beat the Warriors 119-114. Naz Reid was in fuego. Starting role for Naz last night, 35 minutes, 10 for 22 from the floor for 24 points, added 13 rebounds to complete the double-double, 4 assists, a steal, and a block round out his night, but another double-double for Naz Reid.
Should have stayed. Would have been a triple-double.
Could have been. Got to like 10 assists there, potentially, maybe.
Yeah.
As we told you yesterday, Ben Simmons missed the Nets game again with knee soreness. Cam Thomas on the floor last night off the bench. 24 minutes for the former Tiger, 7 for 16 from the floor, 19 points. That follows up the 21-point effort he had the last time the Nets were on the floor. He would finish his night with 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a steal. Celtics routed Brooklyn. And let's see, the Portland Trail Blazers, they got a 10-point victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. 22 minutes for Trendon Watford off the bench, 5 points, 3 rebounds. That puts him right on his average there of 5 and 3. 2 assists and a block to round out his night. Shot 2 of 6 from the floor. On the PGA Tour, The AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am got underway today. Of course, they play that on 3 separate courses out there on the Monterey Peninsula. Ben Taylor is actually at Monterey Peninsula Country Club.
Easy for you to
how
say.
about that? He's 2 under par so far through 12 holes.
Not even 420 at Muse.
Tied for 44th. That has him 5 shots back off a tie for first at 7 under. And then on the Korn Ferry Tour, the Panama Championship, Curtis Thompson is in the field. He's through 13 holes, 3 over par. Curtis Thompson tied for 102nd. He's got some work to do. Ryan Gerard, American, leads at 6 under.
Start on the happy juice a little early after your wreck, Muse.
Look, man. Sometimes peninsula can be a hard word to say.
Peninsula. Easy. Monterey Peninsula. Rolls off the tongue. Very easy.
Got to add the country club.
Monterey Peninsula Country Club.
I think I nailed it the first time.
Nope.
It was the second time.
And the third and the fourth?
Yeah.
And the fifth?
Yeah. The stutter kind of came in there.
Today, Junior. I knew that'd get you. Gets him every time.
Making fun of a kid who can't read. You insane.
You have a soul. That's from Billy Madison, for those that don't know. There's a few movies that if you reference any line from them, Muse will laugh. It could be like the word "the." It doesn't. But if it's from Wedding Crashers, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, what am I leaving out here?
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers.
For sure one.
If you just mention a line from the movie. The painting was a gift, Todd. I'm taking it with me. See? It's fail-proof. You ever need a pick-me-up? You need to have someone laugh at something you say. Just mention any line from one of those movies to Muse. You're sure to get a laugh.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. That there's no lies told.
Yeah, no.
That's Tigers in Press.
Watch this. Joe Carter. See?
I
Got
watched-
him. All I had to do was say the name Joe Carter.
I started watching the beginning of that on Saturday, but then I had to leave to go to the scrimmage at the box, and I was kind of upset.
That would be Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, yes.
All I said was the name Joe Carter, and he
Caught
knew
it right at the beginning.
Knew exactly what I was talking about, right? The Hooters thing is just a
That's
coincidence.
just a coincidence.
We have completely lost the audience. That whole thing we just did is lost on so many people. Just trust that there's a handful of movies that if you mention any line from those movies in front of Muse,
I was about to say.
he's gonna laugh. Well, I kind of broke. I broke character there for a
Big
moment.
Daddy's on that list. We can throw that in there.
No. Yeah, for sure. All right, Tigers and the Pros presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. What is today? Today is the 2nd. Gentlemen, you have 12 days. 12 days until Valentine's Day. Are you kidding me? 12 days. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, and in the Mall of Louisiana, or online at lmfj.com. You can shop online. You can find locations online. It's all there for you. You will always get the Lee Michaels experience at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. So the Saints contingent is over in Mobile right now at the Senior Bowl, as I'm kind of looking up at practice here in studio. And they're going through Senior Bowl. There's, as a matter of fact, Jay Ward working at a cornerback right now, one of the drills we're watching right now. The Saints contingent is there, and while they're scouting the Senior Bowl, they're also a lot of times coaching hires and interviews are done at the Senior Bowl because basically all of the NFL is there. So a lot of guys that are maybe looking for jobs are there. Teams conduct interviews there because everybody's there. And apparently, a day after Chris Richard was let go as Saints defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator, of course, Ryan Nielsen previously accepted the DC job with the Atlanta Falcons. Joe Woods has interviewed for the Saints' vacant defensive coordinator job. Woods was the Browns' DC for the last 3 years, was fired after this season. Dennis Allen hired Woods when he was the Raiders' head coach back in 2014, hired him as the DB's coach. So Joe Woods has experience with the defensive backfield. That's, of course, what Chris Richard did, but so does Dennis Allen. Am I oversimplifying it by saying, I really don't care who the Saints' defensive coordinator is? That is akin to whoever is the defensive coordinator in New England. It's Bill Belichick's defense. That's akin to saying, who is the offensive coordinator in Lane Kiffin's offense? It doesn't matter. He's calling the plays. So that's what the Saints are. I mean, you certainly want veteran NFL guys, good position coaches that can handle their group and all that stuff and maximize the talent there. But as far as a true defensive coordinator, that's Dennis Allen. So now we know that's clearly what Sean Payton was when he was in New Orleans. So, I mean, it's like Dave Aranda. Are you going to be the DC under Dave Aranda? What does it matter? It doesn't. I mean, you're hoping to learn more from him than he's actually going to lean on you, most likely. So, I I know a lot of people are looking at the Saints replacing their two co-defensive coordinators, and that's fine. It just doesn't bother me at all because I believe the Saints defense is going to continue being what it is as long as they have the right personnel and Dennis Allen in place because he's a very good defensive coordinator. We talked about that. He's just not a great head coach. So what do they do on the offensive side? If you're not going to change the staff, then you're dramatically going to have to improve the personnel. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do that year to year with the lack of assets and cap strains that they have, which makes this a very trying offseason for the New Orleans Saints. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Thursday show is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. We are we're going to knock out a break and come back after SportsCenter. Our good friend Jeffrey Marks is going to be in studio with us. We've teased it all hour. The naming of Dale Brown Court just about a year ago, that honor came through, and now there are some pretty heavy hitters in the state that are trying to change it. We're going to tell you what's going on when we come back. Hour 2 of AFR is next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. That's SouthPointVW.com. I tell you every day, they got 9 different IIHS top safety picks, but I'm going to tell you what really matters to me. Every day, I bring my son to school. I bring Drew to school every single day. And every day, when I strap him into his car seat and I get into my Volkswagen Atlas, it gives me tremendous peace of mind. You know, a year ago, I got rear-ended on the Mississippi River Bridge. I was at a stop, and a full-size pickup truck never stopped and plowed into me. His truck was totaled. My car was not. That's amazing peace of mind when you can drive something that's stylish, that's luxurious, that's cost-effective, that's safe. South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. The best inventory, the best prices, right there on Airline just north of Highland. Or online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Moon Griffon is back. The voice of Louisiana politics makes his return to Baton Rouge. Catch the Moon Griffon Show weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on Talk 107.3.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Only one of the starting Super Bowl quarterbacks has played on this stage before. It's the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes for the third time in 4 seasons. So how does that experience help the team?
We're going to be able to go out there and do what we usually do throughout a week with the added stuff that we have to do. And so it's nice to have that experience before. I can teach other guys and help them along as well because even though it's the same team, we have a lot of new players. And so I'm excited to get these guys down there to get that experience. And at the end of the day, you want to win the game. So I just want to make sure those guys keep that in mind.
Patrick Mahomes, Texas A&M wideout Anais Smith will be back with the Aggies for a 5th season in the fall. He missed most of the 2022 season after a broken leg against Arkansas in September. North Carolina football coach Mack Brown gets a 1-year extension with the school. His deal now runs through the 2027 season. In the NBA tonight, Grizzlies and Cavaliers in Cleveland. We've got that one here on ESPN Radio starting at 7 Eastern. Lakers and Pacers in Indy tonight with LeBron James now 89 points away from breaking the career record.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Say one more time. After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Danny Cardenas.
Every time I come around the city, bang, bang. Make it rain, read about it, bang, bang.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. By the way, Paul is home. If you're wondering, I should have mentioned last hour. Paul is at home. His daughter, Opal, is sick. So Paul has daddy duty. So thanks so much to Danny, who, of course, is the producer of Off the Bench, for coming back and pulling double duty, burning it at both ends. We appreciate it, Danny. I've been mentioning this. Mentioned it yesterday on the show. A lot of you have heard the show promo running today, and then if you were here in hour number 1, I've mentioned it throughout as well. To put it very simply, there are a group of very influential people in the state that are trying to change the name of Dale Brown Court, which was voted on by the LSU Board of Supervisors a year ago. They're trying to do this in secret, and there are people like the gentleman to my left, who's a good friend, who are basically trying to figure out why and what all is going on, which is why Jeff Marks, who you've heard on this show for many times, for many years, talking about a variety of different LSU topics. Of course, the author of Walking with Tigers and many other things like we've talked about, Season of Life, and so many LSU stories that you've seen throughout the years that Jeff and I have talked about here on the show. But today is admittedly a different reason why we're having you on the show. So first of all, thank you for the time.
Good to see you, Matt.
It's always great to see you and great to have you on. I think full disclosure is important to begin. You are very close friends with Dale Brown. I will let you set that up however you wish.
Absolutely. Well, Dale is and has been one of my closest friends in life, so I wouldn't even be here in Louisiana without Dale. We first met all the way back in 1986, and I ended up doing some projects with him, including a Dribbling for Donors basketball game in the Superdome in 1994 that some people will remember.
Of course.
Pretty amazing event there. But Dale and I have been great friends. I say that I have Dale to thank for my wife for meeting Leslie, and Leslie has Dale to blame for that. But it was because of Dale many years ago that I met Leslie, and now been married. Gosh, my math's not good. 17, coming up on 17 years and a resident of Louisiana, and it's all because of meeting someone while I was here with Dale. So yeah, we've been very close friends. I would certainly want nobody to think that I come here today as an objective reporter. I come here absolutely biased. Dale is my guy, but I also come here as a reporter. I do have a little bit of background in newspaper reporting, and it's something I care about a lot, and I approach it as objectively as I can, and that's exactly how I've spent my time the last few weeks and wanted to share this story with you.
One of the things I love most about you is your humility. But to say you've done a little bit of newspaper reporting in your life is a gross understatement. That's like saying Patrick Mahomes has played a little bit of football in his life. Like, you're very, very, very accomplished and great at what you do. And I respect you professionally tremendously, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited to do this. Well, for a lot of reasons, I'm excited to do this. Excited might not be the right word, but I think you understand what I mean. Let's go back. Before we go forward, I want to go back to remind people of how ultimately we got to the point last January with Dale Brown being honored with the ceremony to name the court at the Maravich Center in his honor.
Right. So this was not an issue I followed closely for a long time, but it was bubbling up every now and then for as long as about 10 years, it seems like. There were some folks locally that wanted to see the court named for Dale. That kind of came and went every now and then, but it never did get to the level where it did a couple of years ago. One of the first times it really came to my attention that it was being seriously considered, there was a state senator named Stuart Cathy who introduced a resolution that was ultimately passed unanimously by the state legislature, both the Senate and the House, and it asked the LSU board to name the court solely for Dale Brown. Now, that's not a requirement. That wasn't a law, but it was strongly urging them to do so, and that was one piece that led to the conversation that took place leading up to the board meeting in September of 2021 is when that actually came to fruition.
When was the resolution by the?
That was in June of 2021.
So June of 21,
right.
The legislature passes a resolution to name the court for Dale Brown.
And things were already bubbling up, but I think that might have served as a catalyst, and then that led to more conversations. There were a lot of mixed feelings on the board even at that time. There was a lot of debate, but there was a full debate at a board meeting on September 10th, 2021, and there was a vote taken, and it passed by the vote of 12-3 to honor Dale Brown and have his name on the court at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center.
Okay, so September of 2021, the LSU Board of Supervisors votes 12-3 to name the court after Dale Brown, which we know later happened. I want to talk about the three dissenters. Who were the three people that voted against naming Dale Brown court?
There were 3 votes against. One was the LSU student representative on the board. I do not recall her name. She's no longer on the board. It's a different student now. The other was a man named Jay Blossman, who spoke very openly and directly at that meeting and in other venues that the only reason he was voting against it was he didn't think the process was handled properly. It was nothing for or against Dale Brown. It was just he wanted to see a better procedure in place for how that's handled for naming, whether it's a court, a building, whatever at LSU. So he was a no on, as he says, on process alone.
So you spoke to Jay Blossman?
I did. But he also spoke very openly about that at that board meeting.
So a student rep who's no longer on the board,
right?
Jay Blossman, who said it wasn't a vote against Dale Brown court, it was a vote against the process that LSU had. Can you elaborate at all, like what it was about the process he disapproved of?
Yeah, I think he wants it codified in a way. I don't know that there was or is a direct process. I think it has gone through different channels in the past, and I don't think he's been happy with that.
Okay.
He told me he's been pushing for change. I honestly don't know whether that has happened or not.
Okay. And who was the third?
The third is a woman named Mary Werner, who was on the board and still is on the board. And she spoke at the meeting most passionately, I think, certainly of those 3. And she was in favor of the court being named not only for Dale Brown, but also for Sue Gunter. And she wanted to see both names there. In fact, She didn't introduce this amendment, but there was an amendment by the young lady who was the student member of the board at the time to name it. Originally, it came to the board to vote on the naming Dale Brown Court.
Mm-hmm.
Amendment was introduced and then voted on in the meeting to name it for both. And that was at the urging of both the young lady, the student, and Mary Warner was very much behind that as well, and they both spoke about that. That vote was taken, and it was 12-3 against.
Against, okay.
There was more debate, and then finally, after some public comments and further debate by the board, the vote was taken 12-3 in favor of the naming of Dale Brown Court. And then, to move it to its conclusion, or what we thought, I should say what we thought was its conclusion, by the time January 4th of 2022 rolled around, LSU had paid its invoice of $11,850 to have the logo painted on the court, and the ceremony was in fact held. See, when you get into reporting a little, you come up with silly little details like that, but I always like to try to give the complete story, and that is part of it, and it was an amazing ceremony. It was before the LSU-Kentucky game.
Mm-hmm.
Dale was there, his family members, a lot of former players. It was a night of celebration, and I think rightly so.
And I agree. Full disclosure, I was very much in favor of Dale Brown Court, just so our audience knows where I'm coming from. When we moved to Baton Rouge in 1989 from New Orleans, LSU football stunk. We got LSU basketball tickets. First season that I saw as a Baton Rouge resident was the 89-90 season. They were pretty good. That was Shaq and Stanley and Chris Jackson, and I fell in love with LSU basketball and Dale Brown, and I'm with you. I am perfectly fine. I was ecstatic that they honored Dale Brown with the naming of the court. So in September of 21, the board voted against co-naming the court, voted 12-3 to name the court after Dale Brown. You mentioned who the three dissenters were and why. So I can maybe opine a little and say it was Mary Warner who wanted it to be co-named, and a student who she brought along with her, and another dissenter who was against the process, not necessarily against Dale Brown Court. But overwhelmingly, clearly, this passed overwhelmingly. Which brings us to now. A little more than a year after the, what was it, 11,000, what was the invoice?
$11,850.25.
$11,850, which is, I'm sorry. I'm right.
$11,850.25. And Matt,
yes, that quarter.
I don't think we need to get hung up on this. No. I can assure you this story is not about that.
I understand.
It just came as part of my public records request.
No, I understand.
This showed up in my pile.
And so here we are, 13 months later, and we are nearing what we think will be a vote to change the name of Dale Brown Court. When we come back with Jeff, we'll explain why and how we've gotten to the point where Jeff is sitting to my left today telling this story. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Y'all, it is a great time to get by Rouse's for two primary reasons. If you love this time of year like I do, and basically everybody who lives in Louisiana does, it's two reasons. Carnival, which means king cake time, and of course, Rouse's has got your king cakes. You can go pick up your great king cakes at Rouse's, or if you're maybe a displaced Louisianian who's living somewhere else in the world, or you have a friend, relative, or client who lives elsewhere, you want to send them a little piece of home, you can ship that king cake anywhere in the country at Rouse's.com. But it's not just king cakes. Crawfish are back. Have you had your first crawfish of the season? If you haven't, why not do it tonight? Pull into any Rouse's, go into the seafood department. You'll see the grab-and-go kiosks. They've got the crawfish boiled, sacked, bagged, tagged, ready to go. Just grab it, check out, and enjoy tonight. It's crawfish season at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them. Because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Someone got a small head.
That's the voice of Jeffrey Marks, who's in studio with us. If you're just joining us, thanks for being here. We opened this hour, and candidly, we're going to spend, I have this whole hour blocked off to discuss this. I think we'll need the whole hour. But if you're just joining us, Jeffrey chronicled the naming of Dale Brown Court, how it all transpired with a vote in September of 2021 by the LSU Board of Supervisors, 12-3. And now here we are with an LSU Board of Supervisors meeting scheduled for a week from tomorrow, where there is a possibility, maybe a likelihood, I'll let you speak to this.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. There's
Okay.
definitely a possibility. I would even say a strong possibility, but even members of the board that I have spoken to tell me that they don't know yet for sure whether this is going to be on the agenda a week from tomorrow or not.
I'll say it this way. There's a strong possibility that at the Board of Supervisors meeting a week from tomorrow, there will be introduced to a vote of the board members an amendment to change the naming of Dale Brown Court to co-name it after both Dale Brown and Sue Gunter, as I understand it. I want to get into, Jeff, how we got to this point. So the board voted against, initially, 12-3 against co-naming the court.
Correct.
They then vote 12-3 in favor of naming it after Dale Brown. They put the man's name on the court last January. And here we are 13 months later, and the board might be voting to change the name? I need to understand how this has all started to transpire again. So when did this first start to really percolate?
So understand that when you ask how, a lot of people who are right in the mix are also asking how. For me, I was not involved at all. And it started for me, the first time it crossed my radar was on Dale's birthday. It was October 31st, Halloween. Dale turned 87 years old. And I always call him on his birthday. That's just something we do. It was 8:20 in the morning. We had a great little conversation, and I asked him what's on his agenda for the day. He wasn't real excited about the fact that someone was coming to fix a leaking pipe. He said that was the first thing he was doing on his 87th birthday.
Right.
But he said the day was going to get better because he was going to lunch. He was going to lunch at TJ Ribs with President Tate from LSU and Collis Temple, former basketball star at LSU. I think a lot of people here already know his story, and very involved in the basketball program all the way through these decades, and in business, and also a member of the LSU Board of Supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that resume had anything to do with it. It was all about, as far as Dale knew, 3 men that were going to lunch to enjoy and celebrate his birthday.
So why were they actually going to lunch?
Well, as I say, Dale didn't come with an agenda, but President Tate did. And this has been described to me. I have not talked to President Tate about this. I tried to speak with him a couple times the last week or so, and unfortunately they declined to make him available. But Dale, it became apparent very quickly because the way Dale describes it, President Tate, to him, looked a little uneasy from the moment he got there. And Dale couldn't understand why. He says he even asked him, hey, is everything okay? Because they had gotten along really well prior to this. Dale really enjoyed him, liked him, respected him. And something just wasn't right. And the conversation led very quickly to President Tate talking about the Dale Brown court and letting Dale know that there was some conversation behind the scenes going on about people wanting to add the name Sue Gunter to that. I can't give you exact words because obviously I wasn't there, but I can recount for you what 2 people who were there shared with me.
So you said you did not speak to President Tate. So you spoke to Dale, and I would presume you spoke to Collis Temple.
Right.
Who spoke to you about this lunch?
And other things involved in this, yes. But because there were 3 people there, I'd love to talk to all 3 of them, but I did have the opportunity to speak with 2 of them. The way it went down, President Tate discussed the issue with Dale and said something along the lines of, you're really known as a great humanitarian, and this would really help enhance your public image as a humanitarian if you were the one who decided to get out front on this and you be the one to announce that you would love to see her name added to the court. Now, a couple things on that. That was pretty upsetting to Dale for numerous reasons. But anyone who knows about Dale Brown knows that he's not going to get out there and try to polish his image that way. That's not how he does. Dale does what he believes in. He does what he believes is right, and he will fight for anything that he believes is right. I don't think I have to announce that as news here in Louisiana. I think people have known that now that he's been here for 50 years in Louisiana. But that was shocking to Dale because...
Real quick, for the benefit, I don't want to miss this opportunity, I'm sorry, but understand that Dale Brown, his last season coaching LSU was 1997. It's been 25 years.
Correct.
It was 26 years almost. But there's a lot of people listening to us right now who don't remember Dale Brown as the basketball coach. Fill in those blanks for younger people about Dale Brown, the humanitarian that may not be aware.
Well, so Dale coached for 25 years at LSU as the head coach. He won a lot of games. He went to 2 Final Fours. He was National Coach of the Year. He coached Shaquille O'Neal and many others who went on to stardom in the NBA. But having spent the amount of time that I have with him, I would say the points on the scoreboard might matter. Those numbers might matter. But Dale was all about using that platform, the power of the sports platform, to touch and impact the lives of others. That was his number one goal above everything else. So the way I describe Dale, he's done so much for so many people for so long that he's already almost like a living, breathing state park in Louisiana. Everyone can feel like they own a little piece of Dale, whether his name is on a court or not.
Sure.
And I would also say the most important statistics, the ones that aren't talked about enough in the world of sports, but certainly were most important to Dale: lives touched and hope gained. So that's the best I can do to describe Dale as a college basketball coach.
I mean, I think you said it well. Anyone in this town or state that has ever had any dealings with Dale Brown can understand explicitly, what you explained there. So we're at lunch. It's Dale Brown, President Tate, Collis Temple Jr., or Big Collis as they may call him, as many may affectionately know Collis, who played for Dale at LSU. President Tate asks Dale Brown to be the great humanitarian and volunteer this. And how did, yes.
And here's why. I should clarify why he meant it that way. Because there are people involved in this whole process who feel very strongly about the fact that a woman's name should be on there as well as a man. So Dale was a little bit insulted, I think, because of the fact that what he's done for people in this community, this state, this nation, it has nothing to do with male or female. It has to do with humanity. And so that was one piece of it, I think. The other was just this, bringing this to him as if it were his responsibility to take care of something that they had run into a problem on. Okay, so there were people behind the scenes, and I had this described to me later in my reporting, that felt very strongly that this should be done. And not only President Tate, but others involved in this process were looking for a solution. There were several folks involved, including President Tate and others, who thought this was a good idea, that maybe this would be a solution. If President Tate could have this conversation with Dale, maybe he could convince Dale to be the one out front. Therefore, it would take the pressure off of them. It would kind of release them from having to play that role.
Who were some of the others?
I'm not comfortable naming those, but they've been very involved in the process. They were involved in direct conversations with President Tate and others about this. And some of them have spoken to me during this process of the last few weeks, which, as I said, I turned into a reporter again. There were those who spoke to me on the record. Others felt more comfortable speaking only as background, not for attribution, but entirely usable in my discussion of this. I ended up speaking to over 25 people. I didn't exactly count them, but I got to 25 and said, I'm tired of going through my notes.
Okay.
So this was not just a quick in and out. And so what I'm sharing with you, I have absolute comfort in. Again, I can't tell you what those exact words were because I wasn't sitting at the table. I want to be clear about that. I can tell you that the overall message and feel was absolutely clear, and just as clear as Dale's response.
And his response was no.
It was no. There were some other words attached to it. Okay. I'm not going to share those here.
Okay.
But I think it's fair enough to say, I will say two things that I'm comfortable saying about that. The lunch did not end well, and it only ended with 2 people at the table, not 3.
And it would be, I would assume, the 2 people with whom you spoke.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
And say that President Tate did not finish the meal with Dale and Collis.
So at that point then, why doesn't this go away?
Because there are people that didn't want it to go away. Some of the same people who were looking for a solution now didn't have one. So it went to the next level.
Which would be?
The governor of Louisiana.
So at what level is Governor Edwards involved in all of this? Which is, by the way, if I can opine for a minute and interject, ludicrous that we're having a conversation about the governor of the state of Louisiana interjecting himself about the naming of a court that's already been named. But anyway, don't let me
No, well, you have.
Deviate.
And you make a perfect point, because I have to tell you, Matt, it's not my first time around the block, but I was shocked. I mean, I was really amazed at some of the things I learned while I was doing my reporting. Even though I was hearing pieces of it from people involved as some of it was going on, it was only when I kind of shifted gears and became a reporter again on this and started learning some of the details that I actually couldn't believe it. As a resident of Louisiana, I've been here since 2007. I love it here. We've talked about that here on this show. We've talked about how much I love LSU sports and what a process and project that whole Walking with Tigers journey was for me. I have nothing against LSU. I love all of that stuff. It's been an incredible part of my life here. I have nothing against Sue Gunter, nor does Dale Brown or any of the folks that I have talked to about this. But I have to say, I was absolutely shocked when I started learning some of the details about the president of the university, the amount of time that certain board members have spent on this, and then the fact that the governor got involved the way he did. And I can't speak to when he first got involved. I don't know that. But I can speak to what I learned about a meeting that he had at the governor's mansion with some members of the board.
We're going to talk about that meeting at the governor's mansion with members of the LSU Board of Supervisors when we continue next.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Start your day with news and newsmakers. Start your day with traffic, weather, and local stories that are important to you. Kickstart your day every day. Mornings with Brian Haldane from 6 to 9 a.m. Weekdays on Talk 107.3.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
If you're just joining us, Jeffrey Marks in studio has done some great reporting. The issue at hand is that the governor of Louisiana, President William Tate at LSU, and several other power brokers are trying to change the name of Dale Brown Court, which came to a vote to the board back in September of 2021, passed. The court, of course, has since been named after Dale Brown. And then on Dale's birthday, this past October, President Tate, Collis Temple, and Dale had lunch at TJ Ribs, where the president asked Dale Brown to, I guess, volunteer a co-naming of the court with he and Sue Gunter. Dale declined, but other people have continued to push this issue forward, which brings us to, as you mentioned before, the governor of the state of Louisiana.
I feel obligated to make one clarification there.
Okay,
Not that
please.
you didn't say anything wrong.
Please.
But when you say Dale declined, I want to make sure people understand that Dale felt it wasn't his place. So Dale's feeling on this is that he never asked for this. He never lobbied for anything. The board did this. The university did this. He was given this honor. It would actually be disrespectful of him to inject himself into something that the board already did. And also attendant to that, I think it's really important to mention, Dale knew Sue and coached. They literally worked in the same hallway at the PMAC years for years. They had a wonderful relationship. Nothing against Sue Gunter whatsoever. In fact, he has made very clear to numerous folks during this process that he would like to see something named for Sue Gunter. He has recommended maybe the practice facility, the Sue Gunter practice facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure people understand, it's not just Dale said no, because I think that's oversimplifying it a little bit.
I think that's a very important clarification. Okay, so the governor of the state of Louisiana, how does he fit in?
The governor, I do not know when he got involved, but I know that he did have I know that he was involved and has been involved. He invited 5 members of the Board of Trustees to the governor's mansion for lunch. They served crawfish etouffee. I heard that it was actually very good.
How do you know they had etouffee?
Because I spoke to some people who were there.
Okay, fair enough.
And I always believe as a reporter, the details matter. They make it real. You might remember the crawfish story when Joe Burrow was on his recruiting visit here.
I do.
I think it was important that that one was reported correctly as well.
Yep.
So the governor made it very clear over lunch. 5 board members were there, including the chairperson, Valencia Sarpy Jones, who pretty much controls the agenda. I don't mean her personally because it's her, but historically the chairman or chairperson of the board of supervisors has a lot of control over the agenda. She was one of the 5 there. The governor told these 5 exactly what he wanted, which was to have Sue Gunter's name added. Not everybody there was happy about it at all. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody spoke up in conflict with what the governor was asking. I do know that one of the 5 was more vocal than others. One was very much opposed to both names being on the court and made that clear. And one, in his conversation with me, also said this: from the conversations that were going on, it was pretty plain that he, meaning the governor, was getting hammered by the women on this issue.
So this was what someone at the lunch, a board member at the lunch at the governor's mansion, told you, that the governor was, as you put it, getting hammered by, quote, the women?
And again, I can only tell you, I wouldn't even share that with you if it was only one person saying that to me. That's actually been a common thread in these conversations. But because I wasn't there, it still leaves me a little bit uneasy in terms of, I'm very comfortable that that is what the folks involved perceive as what is happening. But I can't say that I was there watching it happen.
Understood.
But I feel very comfortable that that's what those folks took it to be.
So who are, as the board members put it, quote, the women?
Well, there are 3 whose names have come up a lot. Dee Dee Bro, the former LSU gymnastics coach, has absolutely been involved in this. And by the way, I had a very good conversation with her about it, which we can get into in a minute if you'd like to. Mary Warner, who was and is LSU board member. She was one of the 3, remember, who voted against this the first time. And she still sits on the board and is a friend of Dee Dee's. And then the third, when they say the women, the way that that's been described to me, the third is the governor's wife, Donna, who, again, I've had no conversation with, but her name has come up with those others as being a friend of theirs. They, according to what I've been told by multiple people, have had conversations about this, and Donna Edwards has had conversations with the governor about this. That's what I've been told in a great way has led to his interest in this.
And I think it's worth noting, for those that don't know the name Mary Werner. Mary Werner is a board member. She's the daughter of a very wealthy former Louisiana politician who is since deceased, and wields a lot of power because of the money that she spends and has. I think that's very fair to say. Is that why the governor's involved?
I can't answer that question. I can tell you that's been talked about a lot.
Okay.
But I cannot sit here. Remember, I'm in reporter mode.
Right.
And that's how I operate. That's my background, and that's how I feel I should operate in the sharing of a story like this. So you're obviously someone whose job it is to give opinions. Mine is to try to collect facts and do the best I can present them. So I'm not comfortable saying that, but I'm very comfortable saying that's definitely been talked about a lot.
Okay, so Mary Werner, Dee Bro, and the governor's wife, Donna Edwards, reportedly are all, quote, hammering the governor to make this change, to co-name the court for Dale Brown and Sue Gunter. The governor has 5 board members to the mansion for lunch to try to push this agenda. Is this, I'm curious, is this even allowed? Like, my assumption would be, I mean, board meetings are public. Like, can there be board business discussed without the public being notified or being allowed to comment or anything like this?
What I've been told, and I haven't done a full-blown research project on this, but what I've been told is that related to this board, you would require a majority plus 1 for it to be considered a public meeting. I've had other people tell me it also depends what committee some of those people might sit on. I don't even know what the committees are. I didn't research that. I can't answer whether that was proper or not. I certainly don't know it to be improper, but it made me wonder. I was curious about that. But because there were so many other pieces of this I was interested in finding out, I didn't really look into that a whole lot.
So
I don't think people would feel good about it, whether it's legal or proper or not. It just kind of doesn't feel right.
This is the point that for as long as I've talked about this and heard about this is the point I keep coming back to. If this is something where you were trying to celebrate somebody, why is this being done in secret? Why is this being done underhandedly, quietly, in the shadows? The governor's having board members over for lunch, and they're trying to push Tate to meet with Dale and do if you're celebrating something, if this is a grand thing that everyone should get behind, why then are these people who are pushing this doing so in secret?
Matt, I agree with you entirely. And it's been one of the things that's baffling to me about this. So the 3 women, I won't even say the 3 because really the 2 that have been talked about the most in the conversations I've had with people are Dee Bro and Mary Werner. Donna Edwards' name came up multiple times, but as that person who was the bridge, so to speak, between the other 2 women and Governor Edwards. I don't understand at all. The whole idea they have is they feel like they want a woman's name on there to celebrate women, which is great. I have nothing against that whole concept at all. They wanted to tie it in, I have been told very directly by Dee in our conversation, they thought it would have been great to do this last year as part of the 50-year celebration of Title IX being passed in 1972. Now that raises a whole other set of issues as related to LSU and some of the Title IX problems there. That's a whole different conversation that has gone on.
LSU is under federal Title IX investigation right now, so I don't want to speak for you, but my assumption hearing that would be they're thinking, okay, do this, and maybe that appeases some of the pressure from the federal Title IX lawsuit. Which is foolish, by the way. But
it is foolish, but it has been talked about a lot.
I don't doubt.
And I've heard a lot of people bring that up in these last few weeks. But it has been secretive, and I totally agree. I don't understand it. Also, as part of that secrecy, I have requested interviews but wasn't able to get them with the governor, with President Tate, with the athletic director, Scott Woodward, with the chairperson of the board, Valencia Sarpy-Jones, and with Mary Warner. But unfortunately, none of those people chose to speak with me. I would have loved to hear from them directly.
If you're one of those, it goes back to my point. If you're the governor, if you're President Tate, if you're Mary Warner, if you're one of these people that is so proud of what you were doing, then why are you not willing to discuss it publicly? That is the part of this that has baffled me from the beginning. I want to stay on time, so we got to grab a break. But when we come back, we're going to tie a bow on this thing as well and talk about what might be coming, what maybe people might be able to do. And the other thing that I want to stress, because I don't know that I've said this enough, I am completely okay with honoring the late Sue Gunter. Name something else after Sue Gunter. As you mentioned, the practice facility. There's so many ways that you can honor Sue Gunter without dishonoring Dale Brown. Let's pick up. We'll return to wrap up hour number 2. Jeffrey Marks is here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Online at getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. And all this month, I love this. I absolutely love this initiative that Gordon has introduced there with the G team. Of course, Gordon's done an NIL deal with the entire purple and gold lady basketball team, I think, if I take all the branding off of it. And what they're doing is called Playing for a Purpose. So Gordon Gives is going to donate $20 for every point scored by Alexis Morris and Angel Reese during this month. And all that money is going to go to the Turner Syndrome Foundation. That's a charity that is very close to the Mulkey family, and it's such an awesome thing to do. So, Gordon, yes, if you've been injured in an accident and you need help and you need representation, get Gordon and get it done. But, of course, Gordon does so much great in our communities. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're wrapping up this hour with Jeffrey Marks, who's in studio. If you're just joining us, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you, please go back and listen to this entire hour. Watch it on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Ultimately, if I were to boil it down in an elevator pitch condensed version, the Board of Supervisors named the court at the PMAC after Dale Brown. There are some influential people who wanted Sue Gunter's name on there all along. The board did not vote that through more than a year ago. They never let the issue cease. Among them, Mary Werner, Dee Dee Bro, the governor's wife, Donna Edwards, and they are putting tremendous pressure on the governor to push this through quietly. That's with information we have and part of my condensing of the story. But, Jeff, I'm going to ask you this question as plainly as I can. The board voted in September of 21, 12-3, to approve the naming Dale Brown Court and voted down a co-naming 12-3 at the same meeting in September of 21. Why now would the board reverse its vote?
Well, the only thing I have been able to find is the behind-the-scenes conversations, meetings. You use the word pressure, and I think that's a fair one. I think there have been some conversations and meetings I've been able to find out about in my reporting. I'm sure there have been many, many more I don't know about. I look forward to learning more because I actually, on my way here, had a chance to stop by LSU, the general counsel's office. I had put in a public records request on January 17th as part of my reporting. And today, after they did their work in putting that together and collecting the responsive records, I have 676 pages to read tonight. So I have a feeling I'm going to learn more, and I'm looking forward to that. I know there is more, but I think even from the 3 or 4 weeks that I have spent most of my time speaking to people about this, I think that would be my conclusion. So the governor is pressuring board members that he appointed to push this through. I want to circle back to. Let me clarify again one time, Matt, because I want to
said
be.
it, you didn't.
That's fine, but I still want to be as complete and as fair as possible.
Okay.
The word pressure is a big word, and it can mean a lot of different things. What I have been told is this meeting, this lunch at the governor's mansion, it was not ranting and raving and pounding his fist on the table. It was very even keel, a very direct, but open, direct, but controlled conversation. It wasn't a governor standing there ranting and raving, telling these people what to do. He made it very clear to them what he wanted done, but it's not like the temperature was turned up too high. Pressure can mean different things.
Is it possible to honor Sue Gunter in another way?
Absolutely. How could it not be? I mean, you could name the practice facility. We've talked about that. You could name a road. You could name, there are any number of things. I don't work in the athletic department. I don't work for the city of LSU, but the city of Baton Rouge. But I'm sure there are plenty of ways in that area, whether it's something physically on campus or in some other way. But of course there would be, and it would be well-deserved.
Why would you say, and we're short on time in 2 minutes here, that the co-naming is something that would be a problem?
Let's look at what they did with Alex Box Stadium. Alex Box Stadium, duly named for a man who deserved that many years ago, a former LSU baseball player who died in the war. Many years later, here comes Skip Bertman. Great record, great coach, built the LSU program. What are they going to do? They're going to add a second name to the stadium? No. They found something else to do. They named the field for him. Perfect. Take another case, Pete Maravich Assembly Center, most famous player in the history of LSU basketball. They named the building for him. Now we have Simone Augustus. Phenomenal. One of the greatest ever. They gave her a statue. They didn't rename the building the Pete Maravich Simone Augustus Assembly Center. Should they? I don't think so. I think that gets pretty complicated. You can find another naming opportunity.
We're under a minute. Do you know when we will know if this is coming to a vote?
Supposedly the agenda will be set 48 hours before. I don't know that, and I think they have ways around that. Since we're closing, I want to close with this, if I may, please. I'm going to go back into friend mode for a minute.
Okay.
Dale is my friend. I have watched what he and his family have gone through during this process. He's 87 years old. His legacy will be with us forever, as it should be. Don't diminish Dale. Don't dilute Dale. Don't disrespect Dale. That's a friend speaking now, not the reporter, as I have been the rest of this visit.
Well said. I appreciate the time. We will certainly follow up as this continues to develop. I'm going to put out a tweet, and I'm going to tag the governor and the president of LSU in it, imploring them not to do this. And I hope all of you will retweet it, share it, and do the exact same. Jeffrey Marks in studio with us here. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name-brand tires at wholesale prices, and the home of the Charlie's Dozen. That's a dozen benefits to your vehicle extended when you buy tires at Shawbills. That's free tire repair. That's free balancing. That's free tire rotations. And 9 other benefits extended not only to you, but also to every vehicle in your family, whether they bought their tires there at Shawbills or not. Because when they opened their doors more than 50 years ago, Mr. Charlie said, it's just the right thing to do. It's the way you treat people. And it's why they've been able to expand and grow and thrive for more than half a century. It's Shawbills. You can go to ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. You can always see the great specials that they have there at the website. Just hit the promotions tab. Remember, their 18th location is coming soon to Laplace. You can find the location nearest you, schedule service, or shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Otter.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
the best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Corval Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corval Toyota family to yours.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Super Bowl 57 is still 10 days away, so that leaves plenty of time for stories like this one. Giants safety Julian Love talking about Eagles coach Nick Sirianni today on the NFL Network's Good Morning Football.
You know, he's a guy who really is doing a good job because he's not getting in the way of his team. He has an experienced roster from top to bottom, offense, defense.
You see this stuff, though? Like, what's your reaction as a player, and that guy's doing that?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I mean, he's in for a free ride right now. You guys can coach this team.
Julian Love of the Giants reacting to Sirianni's expressions during the Eagles' decisive divisional round win over the Giants. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports former Broncos head coach Vic Fangio will be the new defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. Fangio is working as a defensive consultant for the Eagles this season. American League batting champ Luis Arraez wins his arbitration case. He'll get $6.1 million this season from the Marlins. The Twins traded Arraez to Miami back in January.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Danny Cardenas.
Every time I come around the city, bang, bang. Make it rain, read about anything, bang.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. I want to thank Jeff Marks again for the time. And we spent an hour, and when I tell you we could have done much more, I think you would probably believe me. For those that missed the last hour, I would implore you, please go back and watch, listen on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. You can listen. It'll be on demand. We spent the entire hour talking about what Jeff has spent about a month now researching. More than 25 people interviews, many more interviews not granted from the likes of the governor, President Tate, Donna Edwards, Mary Werner. And as he mentioned while he was leaving, his extensively conducted public records requests, which were dragged on, and finally today left the LSU council with more than 600 pages of documents that he requested in this situation. Yes, as a friend of Dale Brown, he is certainly biased, and he acknowledged that. But I believe here's the thing that I'll say, and I really, really, really sincerely hope, and I just put out a tweet, and I hope all of you will go retweet it, we'll share it, we'll tweet at the governor, we'll tweet at President Tate, imploring them to stop this. That's my hope. And ultimately, I think that's the only way that this stops, because the governor of Louisiana is pressuring board members he appointed to change the name of the court, many of whom do not want to do that, but they feel obligated. Wouldn't you feel obligated? Wouldn't you feel obligated? The governor that appointed you wants you to do something, has you over to the governor's mansion for lunch to tell you to do this? But the only way I think that this stops is if there's enough public pressure. And you're talking about an 87-year-old man who did not ask for the court to be named after him. It was something that LSU did, something that the Hall of Fame committee and the board pushed through and did to honor Dale Brown, who has spent a lifetime helping others as a humanitarian and brought LSU basketball to levels it had never seen. I'll remind you that when Dale Brown retired at LSU, the only coach in the history of the Southeastern Conference that had more wins than Dale Brown was Adolph Rupp. He brought LSU to 2 Final Fours, 13 straight NCAA tournament appearances. You all know the record, but what he did as a humanitarian, I would say even far exceeds what he did on the floor. And to honor him, and then less than a year later to dishonor him is atrocious. There are so many ways that if you want to honor the late Sue Gunter, do it. She has a statue in the concourse of the Maravich Center already. There's a beautiful banner of all of her accomplishments. You want to build a full-size statue, put it outside the practice facility with the others? Wonderful. You want to name the practice facility after Sue Gunter? Please. I would endorse that. But in honoring Sue Gunter, you do not have to dishonor Dale Brown. And this is an awful example of power-hungry people trying to push their agenda. And at the front of the line is Mary Werner and her friend Dee Dee Bro, and now Donna Edwards, all pressuring the governor, who is an outgoing governor, who, I don't mean to talk politics, this is one of the reasons I hate politics. But he's an outgoing governor who certainly is going to need the money of a very wealthy, influential person in the state like Mary Werner, whether he continues a political campaign for another office or in the private sector. You all know how this stuff is done. It's just atrocious, man. It's just atrocious that you would bring this to the feet of an 87-year-old man at this point in his life who's given his whole life, 50 years of his life, to this city, this community, this state, and bring this to him. It's despicable. And you know what? We live in a state, y'all. I love Louisiana for all its wonderful culture and all of its flaws. But we live in a state where we're last in everything you want to be first in, and we're first in everything you want to be last in. We had 3 consecutive insurance commissioners go to federal prison. We had a former governor go to federal prison. He ran for public office again and damn near won. Damn near went to Congress in his 80s. We have just come to accept the fact that this is how business is done in our state, and it sucks. It sucks. You wonder why people leave this state? You wonder why young, bright people leave this state for better opportunities? Because of that. Not because of a name on a court. Please don't misunderstand me. But it's the culture that allows something like that to get done, which is why bright young people say, I'm good. I'll go to Austin. I'll go to Dallas. I'll go to Tampa. I'll go to New York. I'll go to D.C., L.A., Chicago, Phoenix. Because of that. How in the world can anybody realistically look at this and say, yep, this is what needs to be done? Dishonor a man that's given 50 years of his life to the state. I think Jeff said it beautifully. Simone Augustus came along. Amazing player. Greatest women's athlete in the history of LSU. You're going to co-name the Maravich Center now, the Pete Maravich Simone Augustus Center? Absolutely not. You're going to find other ways to honor Simone Augustus. You can honor Sue Gunter without dishonoring Dale Brown. That's the point that can't be lost. And the Board of Supervisors at LSU voted to approve the naming of the court. The co-naming, by the way, came up to a vote. It was voted down 12-3. There was even discussion about when the women's basketball team plays, Sue Gunter's name would be on the court, and when the men's team plays, Dale Brown's name would be on the court, and that was dismissed. This is nothing but disgusting, despicable cronyism in this state, which we're all too familiar with. So familiar with this that none of us right now are surprised that the governor of this state had Board of Supervisors members to the governor's mansion for lunch to try to tell them, essentially, what he wanted done in renaming of a basketball court. Meanwhile, our roads suck, our schools suck. We're last in everything you want to be first in and first in everything you want to be last in. and our governor's over here pressuring board members about naming a court and dishonoring an 87-year-old man. For what? For what? Nah, man. I hope, and I don't know. I genuinely don't know how you all feel about this. I don't. I think I know. But my hope is that enough of you feel the way I do, and you go absolutely flood the governor and William Tate on Twitter, on Facebook, their inbox, their emails, their offices, and flood them and let them know how you feel about this. Because here's the bottom line. Yo, William Tate ain't going to be here long. He ain't going to set up shop as the president of LSU for the next 15 years. And the governor's about to be out of office. He's trying to push this through before he gets out and before the board turns over. You let William Tate roll through here and try to pressure this through as well? Nah, man. I hope you flood them and let them know how opposed to this you are. And you know what, ultimately? Ultimately, I can't control that. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. But I'm telling you, the only way that this stops, because it's clear, it wouldn't come to the agenda for a board meeting if they didn't have the votes. It wouldn't come to that. But the only way that this stops is if public opinion is loud enough against it to stop the governor from doing what he's trying to do. And the fact that I'm sitting here on this radio show on this Thursday in February talking about the people of this state flooding the governor of this state and the president of the university with messages trying to stop them from renaming a court is asinine. And it's to Louisiana. And y'all know it. Every one of you sitting there watching or listening right now are bobbing your head because you know it. The great irony of Louisiana. The things I love about my state are the same things I hate about my state. I love our laissez-faire attitude. I love our culture. The fact that you can go to a penny pitcher night anywhere in this state, boy, it'll be flooded, and we know how to have a good time. But that attitude leaves way too many loose ends, and it leaves people in the governor's mansion like John Bel Edwards sitting there doing this. And I don't know about his politics. I don't even care. I don't care about politics. It's why I got out of news. It's so disheartening. It's so disheartening. All right. I know most of y'all listen to this show because you want to hear sports every day. So we're going to get back to that. I'm actually really, really excited about what we got next. Ryan Robinson, he is a cornerback out of Carr in New Orleans, passed on a whole mess of Power 5 offers to walk on at LSU. We're going to talk to that young man next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com. Man, I really encourage you, if you have any issues with your home central heater, your AC, call River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You can't miss them. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. They have expertly trained technicians. They go above and beyond. As a matter of fact, they're always hiring. And if you're looking for a career instead of a job, get in touch with our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. They don't hire and fire seasonally like some other companies. They know that they're always going to be busy. Remember, nights, holidays, and weekends, they'll always come out. They'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, or weekends. So anytime, any day you have issue with your home central AC or your heater, you can trust River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right. Bayou.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Moon Griffon is back, the voice of Louisiana politics.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're trying to connect with Ryan Robinson, LSU 3-star cornerback out of Carr in New Orleans. Pretty incredible story, man. I'm just having trouble connecting with him on the phone right now. We're going to keep trying. But a pretty incredible... Okay, we got him. Good. Pretty incredible story. And it's one of the things I often talk about with this state where the advantage is the dirt, right? Here you have a guy that had major offers, Nebraska, Arkansas, Auburn, Colorado, and passed on Power 5 offers to walk on at LSU. Incredible. Ryan Robinson is our guest. Ryan, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Hey, first and foremost, are you enrolled in LSU right now, or are you finishing out your senior year at Carr?
Yeah, I'm enrolled.
You're enrolled at LSU. Okay, man. So you're going to go through spring ball.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I laid it out before you came on air. Man, I look at your offer list, and it is a long list, man. Why did you pass on these Power 5 offers for a chance to walk on at LSU?
Wait, what'd you say? The phone had broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why? You have a long list of offers. Nebraska, Arkansas, Auburn, Colorado, Florida State. I mean, it's a long list. Why did you pass on these scholarship offers to walk on at LSU?
I just feel like me growing up watching LSU, it's somewhere I always wanted to be. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah. I feel like I have a great opportunity to get on the field in the spring. So I have a lot of confidence in myself. And, I'm just working. I feel like I'm good enough to do it. So that's why I just came. And I know I wanted to be a part of DBU. I watched that growing up. So.
I love it, man. Hey, what schools recruited you the hardest?
Probably Nebraska.
Did did the cold weather scare you away from Nebraska?
Nah.
It would have scared me away, man. I'll tell you that much. What about the LSU staff, man? What's your relationship like with the defensive staff?
Oh, I'm real cool with Coach Howes, Coach Steeples, Coach Cooks. You know, I'm real cool with them guys.
What about, did you get a chance to meet Brian Kelly or talk to him at all during your recruitment?
Yeah, I've been talking to Brian Kelly my junior year.
Okay. What's he like? What's that relationship been like?
It's been pretty good, you know. He's an honest coach, you know. He don't just want you to be good on the field. He wants what's best for you off the field also.
That's awesome, man. You got friends on the team?
Yeah.
Who did you know that was already here?
It's too many to name.
Is that something that's kind of like part of like New Orleans high school football culture that a lot of you guys like to go play? That you'll talk about that even if you didn't go to the same school in high school, you want to go play together in college?
That's nothing we really talked about, but you know, like we were like that was something we would have wanted to do.
Hey man, give me some goals that you have for spring football or for year one at LSU.
Year one, I know I want to start on special teams. You know, I want to play a lot. I want to play a lot at nickel. I want to get on scholarship. I want to get student of the month. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I want to make a name for myself out here.
Man, you love to hear that. Do you feel like the path to the field is there for you coming in even as a walk-on?
Yeah, definitely.
What did the coach? Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I said my work ethic, you know, and I got good movement. That's what I feel like my movement gonna get me on the
field. Where do you feel like you need to improve?
Really, probably in my press a little bit. I can improve press a little bit.
Hey man, have you thought about what it's going to be like the first time you run out of the tunnel in Tiger Stadium?
Yeah.
How does that look in your mind?
You know, it's a feeling that I can't even speak on.
Well, man, it's coming. Ryan Robinson, LSU freshman, already enrolled to be going through spring football, passing a whole slew of offers to walk on at LSU, and has pretty lofty expectations even in year one. Hey, man, it's good to catch up for a couple of minutes. Congrats on your decision. Good luck. We'll keep in touch, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, man, it's our pleasure. Ryan Robinson, I tell you, man, looking at this list, here's his offers, okay? Nebraska, Arkansas, Auburn, Colorado, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Grambling, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, Louisville, Memphis, Michigan State, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Oregon, South Alabama, Southeastern, Southern Miss, Southern, Tennessee, Toledo, Tulane, Central Florida, Virginia, and that was it. Just those, by the way. That's all the offers that he had. Scholarship offers that he passed on to walk on at LSU. Y'all, it is T-Bob and I have this conversation a lot. Primarily, you know, when he and I are doing Scone and Tea, this comes up because we talk a lot about the NIL space. And it's tough when you look at other schools that have these deeply funded collectives. And then you look at LSU, which is behind. I understand they launched the collective this week, and they can stump it and position it however they want, okay? LSU's behind. They're behind in every way at NIL. They're behind in structure, organization, fundraising. They're behind, Okay, they are. But LSU just landed a consensus top 5 class. LSU won the SEC West. LSU just got the number 1 transfer portal class. How did they do it? You lean into your strengths. Look, some kids are going to be money motivated, and that's okay. You just realize that if some kids are just going where they're going to get the most money, it probably ain't going to work out. That's okay. But your job for Brian Kelly and his staff is to put together the best roster you can. And a lot of times, I'll tell you all this flatly. I'm an off-the-record conversation, but things that I don't mind saying because I trust my information, that Harold Perkins, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, y'all, after this season that they had, their freshman season, schools came after them hard. Collectives came after them hard with open checkbooks. And the way that it was phrased to me was, those dudes are true Tigers because they passed on a lot of money to stay at LSU. Why? Because Will Campbell, when he was a baby, was wearing the same LSU hutch outfit that you and I wore when we were kids. That's all he ever wanted to do was play at LSU. You just heard Ryan Robinson. And I rattled off 20 schools that he had offers to. Tennessee, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Michigan State, Oregon, Auburn, Colorado, Arkansas. Could have gone to any of these places on scholarship. Power 5. So now I'm going to walk on at LSU. Why? Grew up watching DBU. Wants to play DBU. You lean into that. You lean into what your advantage is. It's why when people ask, hey, man, do you think, I know I've had this conversation before too. People will say, man, do you think LSU's great run will come to an end? Like, look at programs like Notre Dame or Florida State or Nebraska, these programs that even USC, which has been cyclical. And they go through these stretches where they have elite teams and then they fall off. And my answer has always been no. I mean, are you going to have one-offs like LSU had whenever Ed Ogeron's in here and it falls apart and you go 500? That could happen. But, we're never going to see LSU with 6 straight losing seasons again because they have built the foundation so high that, if they crumble, the whole structure, the whole thing's going to crumble. It's like when you build, settlers of a town. You ever notice in cities, look at downtown Baton Rouge, look at New Orleans. The French Quarter didn't flood during Katrina because the people that move in there and settle a town, they find the highest ground where they build. It's well, if this floods, everything's flooding, right? We're gone. We're just gone. So, that's what LSU has done. They've built on this super high ground now for the last 20 years. They've continued to build on this high ground. It's not to say that you're not going to have these one-offs like you had with Ed Ogeron, but you've built this culture in this talent-rich state where you are the only Power 5, and you are always going to be able to attract talent because you got those letters. You've got that stadium. You've got this state. You've got the history, the legacy. It don't mean you're going to win a national championship every year, but you're always going to be competitive. The resources are there. All right. Appreciate Ryan Robinson for a couple of minutes here. Let me knock out a quick break. We're brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Man, DraftKings, how about that? NBA, the DraftKings deals this week. Have you been taking advantage of them? Bet just $5 on an NBA game. We're going to start talking about Super Bowl next week, but this week, bet just $5 on an NBA game. New customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word, Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on an NBA game this week. They'll give you $200 in free bets. No matter if you win or lose, just bet $5 on an NBA game. They'll give you $200 in free bets. Also, every customer, new and existing, they're giving you a free, no-risk, same-game parlay every day this week. So every day this week, totally no risk, same-game parlay. You got to opt in. Use the promo code Baton Rouge and opt in. Down, of course, on the DraftKings Sportsbook, place your bet on a same-game parlay. If it doesn't hit, they give you your money back. It's incredible. They're getting you in there. It's DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. Opt-in required. One free bet issued based on amount of initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftking.com/basketball terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, it's after further review. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the Pels. They're back on the floor tonight against Dallas. They're in Dallas against the Mavs. Pels fell to 500 now on the season. They're at 26-26. Dallas, a game ahead, 27-25, which is why, whenever you have this log jam in the West, a game like this is critical. They're all important for the Pels. You got 30 games remaining. You're 26-26 through 52. You've lost 9 straight. You gotta get going. A big part of that is going to be Brandon Ingram playing like Brandon Ingram again. We'll see if they can get on track tonight. So we'll preview that game coming up here in a little bit. We'll reset some other big stories of the day. In particular, Jeff Ireland meeting with the media earlier today in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. We'll recap some of what he said in case you missed it. So we're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. And I'll try to get some of your reaction into the hour we spent with Jeffrey Marks talking about Dale Brown Court. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Get to NOLAflooring.com or go into either of the New Orleans Flooring locations. Yes, it's New Orleans Flooring, and they have a location in Metairie. But they've also got a location in Prairieville. So if you're on Airline Highway and you're going south, you pass the Walmart on your right, and it's on your right. It's just past the Walmart on your right. It's New Orleans Flooring or online at NOLAflooring.com. It doesn't matter what type of flooring you're looking for. If it's laminate, if it's tile, if it's carpet, if it's wood, waterproof, they got it all. And because they keep their inventory, more than 1 million square foot of product in stock, they cut out the middleman and give you the best price. I've been sharing this with you. Right now, because they're making room for this year's inventory, they got to blow out last year's colors. They're selling you product for as low as $1.87 per square foot. As low as $1.87 per square foot. Looking to redo the floors in your home? Maybe you're flipping homes or whatever. You need to redo flooring. You need New Orleans Flooring. NOLAflooring.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are moving along, and glad you're with us. Pels on the floor tonight against Dallas, trying to end that 9-game losing streak. We'll see if they can get it done. It's a 7:30 tip there from Big D. Dallas is a 4.5-point favorite in the game. The two teams have played twice already. The Pels won the first game in New Orleans back in October. The Mavs won the game in Dallas on January the 7th. So this is the second of 4 meetings on the season between the two teams. The bottom line is ultimately, and I don't mean to lay it all at his feet, but Brandon Ingram has to start playing like Brandon Ingram. Over the past month with B.I. on the shelf and Zion as well, Brandon Ingram has just had to do, C.J. McCollum has had to do so much heavy lifting, and you have to have your best players play like their best players. I'll remind you, when the Pels made their run last year into the play-in and winning the play-in, they didn't have Zion. It was this team, this core now that exists with Brandon Ingram back and C.J. McCollum, Jose Alvarado coming off the bench, Herb Jones, Larry Nance, Jonas Valanciunas. This core is the core that you had that made that run a year ago. So they can do it. I think, I'm not trying to place it all at B.I.'s feet. Please don't misunderstand. But when you miss as much time as he did, there's going to be rust. And we heard Willie Green say that yesterday at practice, candidly. I mean, it's to be expected. You're going to have rust when you miss more than a month. You miss 20-some-odd games. Of course, it's going to take a little while to get back into the flow. But since he's returned, in the 3 games he's played, the game against Minnesota, he was 22% from the floor, 4 of 18. Against Washington in the loss on Saturday, he was 36% from the floor, 8 of 22. The Tuesday night against Denver, he was 29% from the floor, 5 of 17. You've got to have your best player play like your best player. So I hate to lay it all at B.I.'s feet, but that's what they're missing right now is Brandon Ingram playing like Brandon Ingram. Because if he can have a B.I.-like game performance, then this team can go into Dallas and win this game. I have no doubt of that. They can go win this game tonight in Dallas. They have to have Brandon Ingram play like Brandon Ingram. Otherwise, it's going to be 10 in a row. So, Pels and the Mavs tonight at 7:30 in Dallas. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com for Mold Zero. I call Jim Woodworth and the gang. Look, we've had a lot of rain. It stormed on Sunday. It's rained all day today. If you've had issue with water getting in your house, maybe you have mold, maybe you have odors, issues with other contaminants or contagions, call Mold Zero. They service the entire greater Baton Rouge and greater New Orleans area. It's mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. That's where you can find them online. There's a number at the website, mold-0usa.com. There's a number for greater Baton Rouge and greater New Orleans. So get to the website. You see a helpful video on their whole patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. It's at Mold Zero USA. Give them a call. Don't worry about cutting sheetrock, pulling insulation out of the attic. None of that. Mold Zero USA can help. It's mold-0usa.com. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Been a really good show. If you missed anything, you can catch AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. We did open up the show today talking about Jeff Ireland, who the Saints contingent is there in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and let's hear Jeff Ireland talk a lot about the quarterback situation. I found this interesting, and one of the reasons that I'm pretty bullish on Hendon Hooker because I think he's your best realistic option. Here's what I mean. So ESPN today did a piece where they ranked the 13, as they put it, quarterback needy teams from most attractive to least, right? So when you look at guys like Aaron Rodgers, assuming the Packers move on, or Derek Carr, or Jimmy G, the guys that are likely to move in this quarterback carousel, and who has the most appealing situation. And this is why I'll reiterate that I think the draft and Hendon Hooker is probably your best realistic scenario. Can we all agree the top 4 quarterbacks in this draft aren't going to be on the board when the Saints pick? Right? Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson. In whatever order you want to put them, don't know, don't care. That's not my business. Let scouts figure that out. But there's sort of a consensus. Those dudes ain't going to be there at 29 when the Saints pick. So everyone seems to agree there's those 4 and then a big gap and then the next group, and Hendon Hooker's in that group. Wherever in that group, I guess, is to each team's discretion. But it seems like he's going to be realistic for the Saints either at 29 or maybe even 40. So if you're not going to get one of the best quarterbacks, the top 4 in this draft, and he's the best player that'll probably be available to you, look at this piece that ESPN put together where they ranked the quarterback needy teams. The number 1 on this list they have is the 49ers. And part of it makes sense, right? They got a great defense. I mean, you've seen 3 different quarterbacks win with that team. Garoppolo, Lance, Purdy. It's like whoever you take, plug and play, they're going to be good. The problem there is you've got Purdy and Lance both coming back. Now, both are coming off injury, but they're both coming back. Number 2, they have the Raiders. And the Raiders have a lot of offensive weapons, okay? We all get what's there offensively for a quarterback that if you're thinking, okay, what's a team that's a quarterback away? I could make a good case for the Raiders. They have the Falcons at 3. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. Seattle 4. They were a playoff team. I assume Geno Smith will be back there, but maybe not. So Seattle 4, playoff team. Tampa 5, playoff team. Tom Brady out. Great quarterback goes in there. Could they sort of just reset? I think they're further away than that, but it makes sense. And then they got the Saints at 6, followed by the Jets, Giants, Commanders, Panthers, Titans, Texans, and Colts in reverse order. So they're saying essentially there's 5 teams with a better scenario than the Saints. And by the way, I would put the Jets ahead of the Saints as well, if for nothing else, because there are going to be quarterbacks that want to play in the New York market, number 1, and number 2, the division. I know Buffalo's there. I get it. I'm not trying to dismiss Buffalo. And Miami maybe is on the come. We'll see. And you could make a case, well, New England's always New England, but it feels like there's more of an opportunity there for the Jets than there's ever been. The only appeal of the Saints would be you're in a terrible division that could be easy to win, but doesn't mean you're going to win big outside of that. So I guess my point is, if there's 5 or 6 teams that are more attractive destinations for free agent quarterbacks, and really you're just looking at Rodgers, Carr, maybe Garoppolo, who are all going to make their decision where they want to go, the Saints aren't positioned to make him the best offer. Not only from a roster standpoint, but from a salary cap standpoint. I understand you could always make the money work for a player, but in so doing, you're crippling yourself with everything else you want to do or try to get done. And do you really want to set your roster back even further financially for Jimmy Garoppolo or Derek Carr? I wouldn't. I'd say give me, because I feel those guys have a ceiling. Give me Hendon Hooker coming in at 25 years old and say, what could he be over the next 5 years? Is Hendon Hooker's ceiling over the next 5 years higher than Garoppolo, Carr? You're not getting Rodgers anyway. So just look at those 2. I would say is his potential ceiling. Not saying he's going to reach it, but is that higher over the next 5 years? Absolutely. I don't know that there's an argument against. So I want to say one more thing. I reserve the right to change my mind. We're all going to get more info. We're going to go through the whole draft process, the pre-draft process, Senior Bowl, Combine, everything, workouts, and we're going to learn more. And maybe there's a player that rockets up draft boards and people fall in love with, and maybe that proves to be the guy. But when I look at what are realistic options for New Orleans, the best realistic option to me is Hendon Hooker. Let me know if you agree or disagree. We're going to talk plenty about that, you better believe, over the next several months. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break. When we come back, we'll do a little Otter Locks with Jimmy Ott. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Stick around.
AFR.
Whether you're downtown or Southtown, the Watermark and the Renaissance, two of Baton Rouge's premier hotel destinations. Of course, you want an elegant night in the city, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. Or if you're trying to host an event, either is fantastic. Weddings at the Watermark are gorgeous. Go check out their galleries. Smaller, more intimate settings, perfect. For the Renaissance, they can accommodate a dozen people in one of their boardrooms, up to 500 people in their ballroom. They've got more than 13,000 square foot of meeting space. So whatever gathering event you may have, the Renaissance, the Watermark are perfect. And both have incredible dining experience as well. I've been telling you, opening day of the LSU baseball season, I'm going to be at Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. Make plans to join me. The Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We always appreciate our friends over at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Winning night for the Otter, 4-3, and the Otter joins us now. How are you?
What's up, Matthew? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. You keep doling out winning nights like this. Makes every night. Look, waking up in the morning just a little better when you had a winning night, right?
Oh, it cures all those arthritic pains. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Not all of them. I got this crick in my neck, too.
Yeah, well, you ought to come out and do the yoga with Charlie on Thursday evening over here at the Yoga Club. He's a little upset. They're probably washed out the weather. Probably going to cancel it. I said, look, that's okay. I don't have to help, kind of help you get those yoga pants on. I got to help dress it.
He's got his Lululemon pants on.
Does he? Does he? He's got a corporate account.
Poor guy. Poor guy. All right, man. By the way, do we have Colucci?
I just texted him about 10 minutes ago. Have not heard yet, so I will check once I get these college basketball picks.
Okay.
And it's kind of, I would say he's 50-50 by the time we're done with these to have some early hockey picks.
Okay.
So
all right.
You ever heard of Jordan Jelly Walker?
No.
Jordan Jelly Walker is the leading scorer for UAB. He has not played in the last 8 games. They are playing Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is the #1 ATS in the country. How about this? The former manager at Indiana, the young coach for Florida Atlantic. They're ranked. They're going to the tournament. UAB has to get this one to get some kind of a boost to try and get their entity back in consideration for a bid. Well, guess what? Jordan Jelly Walker is warming up, and he's playing tonight. You know what that means, son? Guess who's the second leading scorer for UAB? Eric Gaines. That's the problem. Jelly. Come on, Jelly. Shoot it, Jelly. Shoot it, Jelly. We need Jelly. UAB -2 against Florida Atlantic.
Hey, do you think that LSU might be able to use Eric Gaines's length and defensive ability?
I guess. But he'd be throwing them up sideways, too. My man, he don't care if he's over the first 7. He's never been a shot he didn't like. So anyway.
All right, UAB -2. All right, what else we got, Otter?
All right, Northwestern Michigan. Northwestern -3 at home. DraftKings actually is the best line on that one. -3. There's some 3.5s out there, so get on it now. That's
Looking
a 6 o'clock tip.
All right.
On ESPN2. Utah in the Pac-12. Charlie and I went to Salt Lake City in 2000 when LSU beat Texas. Go to the Sweet 16. Yes, indeed. No, that's pre-yoga pants. But anyway, Utah -6 at home against Stanford.
All right.
So we like them at home. They're always tough at home. And then a big revenge. Oregon destroyed Arizona a few weeks ago in Eugene. Now it's the return trip to Tucson. 8 is there are some 8s out there, 8 and 8.5. But if you find look hard enough, you'll find the 8. So there you got 4 picks tonight. UAB's the big one, -2. Northwestern -3. Utah -6. Arizona -8. Let me check. All right. No, we haven't sent anything yet. So
and DraftKings is 8 on Arizona, by the way, -110.
Okay, good. So.
All right, so Colucci will be on with the Otter in about 30 minutes from right now. So the bottom of hour 1 with the Otter every Thursday. So make sure you're tuned in to Game Time with Jimmy Ott. So when Colucci's on, he'll give you the hockey picks for tonight if he doesn't have any early ones. So make sure you're locked in there. Y'all are over at Jolie Pearl.
Yes.
Okay.
Jolie Pearl. Broca was great last night. You're going to make that next time if you can. So anyway. I know you and T-Bob over at Tom Thumb. Well, I mean, not Tom Thumb. Oliver Twist.
Tom Thumb! What are you talking about? Tom Thumb. All right. Otter. Baroque is great, and so is Jolie Pearl. Yeah, we're not in Pensacola, and it's not a gas station, by the way. It's a very, very, very nice bar and restaurant. So, all right, Otter. What's that?
I'll let you know if Colucci fires in before you get off.
All right, thanks, Otter. We appreciate it. Have a great show.
Okay.
All right, man. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Y'all, I'm telling you, they measure twice. They install once. It'll lower your energy bills, increase your home's resale value, beautify the exterior of your home, install these beautiful windows from Relief Windows that come with a lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Why would you call anyone else? Call the best. Call Relief Windows. 288-8138. 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, do it for us here. Otter, again, UAB -2, Northwestern -3, Utah -6, and Arizona -8. All favorites tonight for the Otters. Had one heck of a week. Muse, I appreciate it. Danny, thanks so much for coming back, man, for filling in for Paulie. We appreciate it. Hopefully, Paulie's back tomorrow. Y'all have an awesome night. OTB from the Senior Bowl tomorrow. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. That's the Williamson Eye Center. I tell you every single day, and I couldn't be more bullish about it. The Williamson Eye Center, Dr. Blake Williamson changed my life. And there's not many times that you could say that, legitimately mean it, but when you're like me, and many of you are, and genetically you have bad eyes, and I wore glasses since the time I was in the 6th grade, and I was so nearsighted I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face. And I've had to reach for glasses and shove contacts into my eye and lived with that inconvenience for my whole life. I didn't even know what it was like to be able to just see. And then I met Dr. Blake Williamson, and he explained LASIK to me, had my procedure 5 years ago, and still seeing better than 2020. Change your life, man. Call the Williamson Eye Center. Go for that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana.